Today's lesson is going to be about the prefix D. D-E. What is a prefix?
Like something at the beginning of the word?
Beginning of the word. So if you don't know the definition or the meaning of a word, if you know the prefix, then that'll help you figure out what the meaning is. So if a word starts with D, know that it means down, off, or away. D, okay? When I was growing up, we had refrigerators in the house, and we had to defrost the refrigerators. And it was so crazy because the freezer would build up ice, and if you didn't defrost it or take the ice out, after a while the ice would just take over all the room in the freezer because it would just steady build up. Have you ever left the freezer open and then you come back and it sort of build up with ice in there? So nowadays, refrigerators have a built-in defroster. But when I was growing up, we always had to defrost the refrigerator. Basically, we had to take away the ice. Defrost, take away. And that's just like on your car window. And when it gets wintertime and you have the ice on there and you push the button in your car, it's called a defogger. Or it takes away the fog, right? A defroster takes away the frost, okay? So D means a down, off, or away. First, decompose. You know what decompose means?
Break down.
Break it down, to take something down. Decompose, break it down. Deform.
Not formed in the right way.
Yeah, not formed in the right way. So if you have you ever had a t-shirt, you put a t-shirt in the dryer, you take it out and it looks kind of wobbly look? My sons hate that. So if the t-shirt's not perfect, it's sort of deformed. And then one of my sons just wants to throw the t-shirt away. Deprive means to take somebody's possessions or take something away from someone. If I was hungry and you took my lunch, you what? Deprived me of my lunch, right? D means to take away. Deprive means, because a privilege is something you have, but if you deprive somebody or something, you take away something. The next one is dehydrate. What does hydrate mean?
Like drink water.
Drink a lot of water. So what does dehydrate mean?
No water at all.
Yeah, you're lacking in liquids. If you dehydrate, sometimes you can go to the hospital just for dehydrating. Deduct. You know what that means. And man, what does deduct mean?
Basically, have to take away.
Take away. Debunk.
To prove that's a lie.
Yeah, so if you debunk something, you're proving that it's false, okay? You debunk something that someone says. Detour. A tour is something. A what? A route that you go on. So a detour is when you do what?
Just kind of drive.
Get off the route.
You get off the route. See, you're away from the route. The next one is deflect.
Prove an opponent.
So deflect. So a deflection is when you go away from where you. Let me think of something. Prevent occur. So if I was having a conversation, and then with you, but you didn't want to talk about that, then you're gonna deflect. You're gonna go away from that conversation because a reflection is when you're looking at what you see, right? To deflect is to go away from that. That's again away.
Or like if somebody's like throwing the ball to somebody, like in football, you bat the football away.
Okay.
Deflected.
Defile. What does defile mean?
A stain.
So if you defile my reputation, you make my reputation bad. Remember, we were just having a conversation about being careful about the people that you hang around because they can hurt you. They can defile you. They can put a spot or a stain or make your reputation not be good. Okay. Deceive.
Basically, like trick somebody into.
Yes, the trick and cause someone to believe something. Deceive. You're taking away. Again, take away the truth. Deconstruct. What does construct mean?
Build.
But so if you deconstruct, you do what?
Take it down.
You're taking it down. I went over all of these. This one, defraud. What does defraud mean?
Lying to someone.
Yeah, to defraud is a verb. That's something you can do. I can defraud you. I could write you a check and tell you I have $5 million in the bank, and you take it to the bank, and they say, "We're sorry, Miss James only has $5." True. And so I've defrauded you by giving you something. It says it's a practice of lying to someone or an institution in order to steal money, like bank theft or electronic wire fraud or something. So defraud is the verb. What is a? And am I saying it correctly? Fraud. What is a fraud?
A noun. Like basically a person.
It's a noun. No, someone who does that is called a defrauder. So a fraud is something that's what?
That a person like does
person that gains money.
A fraud is an act. It's an act, the practice of lying to someone. You sold me a fraud. Like say, and that's actually happened one time on eBay. I bought a purse. And I thought it was a real Louis Vuitton, for $50. I really thought I was getting a great deal. It was a what? Fraud. So the person who did that to me, they did what?
They booking your money.
You got finesse.
Yeah, so they defrauded me. Okay. Dehumanization. We talk about that a lot when we just talked about civil rights, and next one we're going to talk about the Holocaust and Japanese internment. All of that has to do with dehumanization. What is dehumanization?
Taking away
treat
someone's
somebody
human
that's
quality.
human, not like a human.
Yes, you're treating someone that's a human, not like a human. You can do that by bullying them. You can do that by slavery is a dehumanizing act. We talk about child trafficking. Anything that takes away someone's natural human rights is dehumanization. And so I think we went over all of them except this one. Decriminalization. Ooh, that's a big word.
Something that's illegal by federal law.
What does D mean?
Something that's illegal by federal law.
D means to do what though?
Take away, down.
Take away.
Legal.
So
Legal.
decriminalization is federally illegal, but a punishment may not be as harsh as it is if it wasn't decriminalized, okay? So decriminalize, you can spell it two ways. You can spell it decriminalization. You can spell it two ways. You can spell it with the Z or the S.
So it doesn't really matter.
Huh?
So it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't really matter. You could I've seen it both ways. I looked it up, but you can say decriminalization. You can spell it with a Z-A-T-R-O-N or S-A-T-R-O-N. But decriminalization means it takes the criminal part out of something, right? That's been on the ballots and things a lot lately. I saw that on several state ballots that they wanted to decriminalize certain drugs. So decriminalize means to take away the criminal act of it, but it can still be what? Illegal, right? So what is legalization?
Making something legal.
Huh?
Making something legal that was previously illegal.
Yeah. So is decriminalization and legalization the same thing?
Kind of. No, not at all.
No, because we put the what in front of it.
D.
D, and D means to what?
Take away.
Take away. So decriminalization means that an act is not criminal, but it may break the law in some ways according to how the law is set up. But legalization means what?
Making something illegal.
Yeah, it's legal. You're good, right? So let's go back over it again. D means down, off, or away. So if you see a word with the word D in front of it, D is a what?
And verb.
No.
Prefix.
It's a prefix, correct. It's a prefix. And when you don't know what that word means and you see D in front of it, you know how to break down the meaning of the word and figure out what it is, just like we did here.